He was young, massive, freakishly strong, and he looked unstoppable, a beast in the gym and on stage, leaving jaws dropping all over the world. But behind that insane physique, there was a heavy story, packed with sacrifices, controversies, and risky choices. Today, we're diving into the journey of one of the most talked about athletes of recent times. So you know the drill, grab your pre-workout and come along because this story might shake your mind and maybe even your training. Hit play, take a deep breath, and get ready to feel the real weight of being a colossus. It all started in Tennessee, where a tall, determined kid stood out on the football field. With a big frame and a presence you couldn't ignore, Dallas McCarver quickly made a name for himself in the sports world. But what most people didn't know back then was that his true passion was just starting to wake up, and it had nothing to do with touchdowns or pigskins. It was inside the gym that Dallas really found his purpose. What began as a way to boost his football performance quickly turned into an obsession. Weight training revealed something deeper, a natural gift for building muscle and a mindset focused on constant progress. The kid from Tennessee was about to walk a whole new path. Little by little, dumbbells replaced drills, and lifting weights stopped being just a side hustle. It became his main mission. Dallas fell in love with the bodybuilding lifestyle, the brutal workouts, the strict diet, and the all-in mentality. He went all out, studying the greats, training like a seasoned pro, and prepping himself for competition. His first show came in 2011 at the NPC Hub City Fitness Quest, and Dallas didn't just show up, he dominated. That was the start of a meteoric rise. 2 shows and 2 wins later, he earned his IFBB Pro card at just 21 years old. That's not something you see every day. Only the most gifted make it that fast. But Dallas wasn't just gifted. He was built different. Standing 6 feet 0 inches, 1.83 meters tall, and weighing up to 300 pounds, 136 kilograms. In the off-season, his physique stood out for the sheer size, but also for being balanced and well-structured. What really blew people's minds was his waist. Only 34 inches, 86 centimeters, despite all that mass. In modern bodybuilding, that's almost unheard of. From the beginning, it was clear Dallas had something special. It wasn't just size, it was stage presence, posture, symmetry, and above all, next-level determination. In no time, he went from promising rookie to being seen as the next big name in American bodybuilding. People even started comparing him to legends like Ronnie Coleman. After earning his IFBB Pro card, Dallas hit the pro circuit with a fire that impressed even the old-school veterans. He didn't just compete, he won. Between 2012 and 2015, he entered 5 pro shows and took first place in 3 of them. That kind of starts sending a clear message. This guy wasn't just another face in the crowd. Every time he stepped on stage, he looked better. Bigger, leaner, more balanced. Fans started noticing. So did the judges. In 2015, he won the IFBB California State Pro, which earned him a spot on the biggest stage in the world, Mr. Olympia. That year, he faced the sports giants at Olympia weekend and, even as a rookie, landed in 13th place. For most people, that would be a huge win, but not for Dallas. He didn't come to play, he came to win. And that champion mindset would make all the difference in the years that followed. In 2016, he returned to Mr. Olympia hungry for more. And he delivered. He jumped 5 spots and finished 8th at just 25 years old. That was practically unheard of. It felt like the birth of a new titan in the sport. It didn't take long for fans and insiders to start comparing him to Ronnie Coleman. The size, the density, the raw power, even the big smile during workouts brought back memories of the legendary Mr. Olympia. Dallas was young, strong, and laser-focused. He seemed to have everything it took to dominate the open division for years to come. The industry was all in on him as the future of bodybuilding. Fitness magazines hyped him up as the new American mass monster. Sponsors fought over him. Social media boosted his fame even more. It felt like only a matter of time before he stepped on the Olympia stage again. Not just to compete, but to win it all. When we talk about top-level bodybuilding, yeah, a lot of athletes are big, but very few were built like Dallas McCarver. He wasn't just massive or jacked. He looked like a living statue. His body stood out for its insane density. But what really set him apart was how he combined size, definition, and perfect proportions. The first thing that hit you was that classic V-taper. Super wide shoulders, thick chest, razor-thin waist, and lats that flared out like wings. It was like every part of his body had been measured and sculpted with a laser. Even when he stepped on stage weighing over 270 pounds, 120 kilograms, he kept a tight 34-inch waist, something almost unheard of at that level. His stats were jaw-dropping even for seasoned pros. His chest measured over 54 inches, and both arms and legs had that dense, full look without ever losing definition. He was the kind of guy that looked freaky in person and somehow even crazier in photos. A literal wall of muscle carved with surgical precision. But Dallas's secret wasn't just in the numbers. He understood that being huge wasn't enough. His goal was to grow in the right places without messing up his lines, symmetry, or aesthetics. That mindset guided everything. His training, diet, even which exercises he chose. For him, getting bigger meant nothing if the waist got thicker too. That would have been a step backward. You don't improve your physique just by getting bigger, he used to say. You need to grow where it matters, shoulders, back, arms, but keep your waist tight. That kind of thinking made him stand out in an era where many bodybuilders were chasing size at the cost of shape. Dallas went the other way, balancing both like very few ever could. If his size already left people speechless, his strength was just insane. He wasn't just big, he was legit strong. The kind of guy who didn't just look like a monster. He actually lifted like one. In 2016, he made history by beating one of the most iconic feats in bodybuilding, Ronnie Coleman's deadlift. While Ronnie was known for pulling 800 pounds, about 360 kilograms, in his legendary sessions, Dallas took it further. With a straight back, solid form, and no sloppy jerks, he pulled 804 pounds, 365 kilograms, clean from the floor to lockout. It wasn't just brute force. It was complete control over an absurd amount of weight. That ridiculous strength carried over to everything he did. Dallas was squatting over 600 pounds, 270 kilograms, pressing 150 pounds dumbbells, 70 kilograms each, on flat bench, and rowing weights that would crush an average lifter. And even with those numbers, he always focused on form and execution. It was never just about throwing weight around. It was about maximizing every inch of the movement. What made it even crazier was that, even with all that strength, Dallas kept his eye on aesthetics. He knew that power and looks could go hand in hand, and that's what made him so unique. While most guys start to lose control when lifting super heavy, he somehow looked more solid and in control the heavier it got. That's why people kept comparing him to Ronnie Coleman. Not just for the freaky physique, but because they were both strength mutants, true iron workers. And when you see a guy over 290 pounds, 130 kilograms, pulling 800 plus lbs like it's part of his warm-up, you realize you're witnessing something rare. But Dallas's monster physique wasn't just genetics. The guy was a training strategist with a routine that was calculated down to the detail. He trained twice a day, splitting muscle groups smartly and with purpose. It was an intense approach, but one that fit his body and goals perfectly. His week started with a full-on focus on legs. Day 1, quads in the morning, hamstrings and calves in the afternoon. Day 2, chest early, followed by biceps and triceps later. Day 3 was all back, one of his best body parts. Day 4, shoulders and traps in the morning, arms again in the afternoon. The goal behind this split was clear: high volume with maximum local recovery. He knew that the key wasn't just training hard, it was training smart. This setup let him hit every muscle with intensity without wrecking his performance for the next sessions. It was elite-level planning through and through. Some of his exercise choices even became signature moves. The dual-handle pull-down, for example, was a staple, key for building that wide, flared back. On machines, he'd do behind-the-head presses on the Smith machine with full focus on range and control, something most lifters wouldn't dare to do regularly. For shoulders, his go-to was lateral raises with dumbbells. always with the pinky slightly tilted up. That little tweak helped him activate more deltoid fibers. For front delts, he preferred unilateral raises on an inclined bench, with strict form and zero momentum or cheating. The goal was always to isolate and feel the muscle, not just move weight from point A to B. Dallas also didn't skip the basics. Leg press, front squats, deadlifts, dips, curl variations, crossovers, and triceps with all kinds of grips. Every workout was a mix of heavy loads, perfect technique, and controlled reps. Nothing was random. Everything was calculated to squeeze out maximum gains. Even the off-season, he kept cardio in 3 times a week. It helped preserve his definition and, most importantly, maintain that famously tight waist. Dallas knew that to stand out in the open class, it wasn't enough to be massive. You had to bring lines that popped. And his training routine reflected that full commitment to excellence. Nothing about Dallas McCarver's physique was left to chance. Even at nearly 310 pounds, 140 kilograms of solid mass, he never skipped abs, and more importantly, he never trained them with weights. For him, that was a mistake that could cost you big on stage. A blocky midsection could ruin the flow of your physique, and his goal was always to keep the waist tight and sharp. While a lot of bodybuilders add resistance to abs to build thickness, Dallas did the exact opposite. His philosophy was simple. The leaner and more controlled your abs are, the more your V-taper stands out. And he took core training just as seriously as any other muscle group. No plate-loaded crunches or heavy machines, just body weight and laser focus on the squeeze. His favorite of exercise? Hanging leg raises. For most people, that's tough enough. Now imagine doing it at his body weight. Still, he performed them with precision, feeling every contraction. It was a full-on test of strength and control, and he made sure to include it in every phase of his prep. Another staple was the classic crunch, slow, controlled, and focused. No fast reps, no sloppy movement. He aimed for 15 to 30 reps per set, but every inch of the motion counted. The goal was crystal clear. Feel the muscle working from start to finish. When doing row crunches, he had a personal tweak. He'd take a step or 2 back from the stack to create a deeper stretch in the abs. He didn't need heavy weight to make it effective. He used posture and execution to crank up the intensity. That tiny adjustment made a huge difference and showed how in tune he was with his body. His discipline with training wasn't about vanity. It was a stage strategy. In a division where many competitors lose waist control and wreck their symmetry, Dallas went the opposite route. His core always stood out tight, defined, and locked in, even in the off-season. That was the result of deliberate training and his decision not to overbuild his midsection. If his workouts were brutal, his diet was just as intense. With his fast metabolism, he needed to eat a lot. We're talking 5,000 to 5,500 calories a day. And the wildest part? Even with that much food, he stayed dry, vascular, and stage ready with barely any water retention. His diet was simple but on point. Lean proteins, clean carbs, and smart veggie choices. The day started with straight black coffee. No sugar, just to kickstart the system. Then came a nutrient-packed breakfast, 10 egg whites, 2 whole eggs, and cream of rice. The perfect protein-carb combo to launch his morning. Throughout the day, the food quality stayed high. Tilapia, chicken breast, jasmine rice, sweet potatoes, asparagus, all chosen with a clear goal. No sauces, no fried food, no processed junk. His last meal of the day was light but functional, tilapia with asparagus, enough to nourish without overloading his digestion before bed. At one point in his early career, Dallas was eating up to 16 ounces, about 450 g, of meat per meal. But under his coach's guidance, he dialed it back to 6 to 7 ounces, roughly 180 to 200 g. And the craziest part? He didn't lose muscle. In fact, he felt better. Digestion improved, less bloating, and tighter control over his physique. His approach to nutrition was so dialed in that he could tweak small variables based on how his body responded. If he was holding water, he'd cut sodium. If his energy dropped, he'd bump up the carbs. It was like his own version of personal science. built over years of discipline and self-awareness. And his diet taught a valuable lesson. It's not just about eating a lot, it's about eating right. Dallas proved that you can grow with quality without unnecessary excess, and that understanding how your body responds matters way more than blindly following some cookie-cutter plan. Ever tried tracking how many calories you eat in a day? Think you could stick to a clean 5,000-calorie diet? Drop a comment and let us know how you handle nutrition during heavy training phases. And if you'd ever have the guts to take on a routine like big countries. In an era filled with flashy supplement stacks and overhyped products, Dallas McCarver stood out by keeping things simple, effective, and smart. His supplement routine was minimal but dialed in. He knew what worked for his body and never fell for magic formulas. Nailing the basics was more than enough. Right after training came the classic whey protein shake. Fast digestion, fast absorption. The goal was to hit the anabolic window and flood the muscles with protein when it mattered most. It was a non-negotiable part of his day. Post-workout was sacred, and Dallas kept it clean and consistent. Before bed, he'd switch gears from speed to stability. Casein protein. It digests slowly and keeps amino acid levels steady overnight. Dallas understood the body doesn't stop working while we sleep, so he made sure to fuel recovery even in rest mode. Alongside protein, he always took a daily multivitamin just to cover any gaps in his already nutrient-packed diet. Even though his meals were clean and loaded with whole foods, he didn't take chances. With the physical stress he put his body through, staying on top of his health was part of the plan. Even in bulking phases, Dallas steered clear of junk food. No fast food, no soda, no desserts, and no weekend binges. His mass came from clean, calculated meals. He believed the secret to an elite physique was keeping the same standard year-round. No excuses. But pro bodybuilding can be brutal. And even at the peak of his career, Dallas McCarver looked unstoppable. Young, massive, charismatic. His physique intimidated even the veterans. Then in March 2017, something shocking happened. During a pose at the Arnold Classic Australia, Dallas collapsed on stage, right in front of hundreds of people. It was tense, alarming, and instantly made waves in the bodybuilding world. After the incident, Dallas went public with an explanation. He said he'd been dealing with a respiratory infection, felt weak, and that dehydration played a role in the collapse. It made sense, especially during prep, when athletes push their bodies to the absolute limit to come in as dry and shredded as possible. But not everyone bought the story. Experts and fellow athletes started questioning what really happened. Too many diuretics? Heavy stimulants? Hormone manipulation? Critics like Boston Lloyd and Mark Lobliner openly suggested the collapse might have been the result of risky methods used to achieve extreme conditioning. Social media and forums lit up with debates. Some defended Dallas, saying he was a disciplined young guy who just pushed through a rough patch. Others saw the collapse as a clear sign of deeper issues that happened behind the scenes in pro bodybuilding. The pressure to be the best, and to be the best fast, looked like it was taking a serious toll. Still, Dallas didn't slow down. Not long after, he was back in the gym, posting training videos and sharing his routine with fans. He seemed to have bounced back, training hard with the same intensity. That fall on stage looked like just a scare, until everything changed a few months later. On August 22nd, 2017, Dallas was found unresponsive at home after apparently choking during a meal. He was alone, despite rescue efforts. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. He was only 26 years old. The news shook the entire bodybuilding world. It was hard to believe. The athlete seen as the future of the sport was suddenly gone, and in such a tragic, unexpected way. Dallas McCarver's death was a shock, but what came after hit even harder. The autopsy revealed a terrifying picture. His heart weighed 833 grams, nearly 3 times the normal weight. On top of that, there was kidney hypertrophy, liver enlargement, and signs of nephrosclerosis. This was the body of an athlete pushed to the absolute edge, inside and out. Toxicology also found trenbolone, caffeine, and traces of marijuana. But the real jaw-dropper was the extensive history of exogenous hormone use. GH, insulin, IGF-1, testosterone, masterin, anadrol, and a long list of other compounds. Dallas had been running heavy and frequent doses, with protocols that were extreme even by bodybuilding standards. According to rumors, his cycle cost around $70,000 per month, including up to 22 IUs of growth hormone per day and multiple insulin injections throughout the day. It was a dangerous routine, totally unsustainable long-term, maybe even short-term. His body gave out. The autopsy concluded he died from an unobserved acute cardiac event. This kind of outcome is a brutal reminder that competitive bodybuilding can cross invisible lines. Dallas was just 26. His body looked like a machine on the outside, but on the inside, the wear and tear was undeniable. The obsession with being the best took him too far, and it's impossible not to reflect on the risks that come with that path. Dallas McCarver was a rare phenomenon. Stronger than most, more disciplined than most, and dead set on becoming the biggest. He left us way too soon, but his story still inspires thousands. Every training clip, every post, every monster deadlift still echoes in the bodybuilding world. But along with the admiration comes a powerful lesson. No physique is worth your life. If you made it this far, it means this story hit you in some way. So go ahead and drop a like to support the channel, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell so you never miss one of our deep dives. And if you want to support us even more, consider becoming a channel member. It helps us keep sharing the most powerful stories from the world of bodybuilding. Now tell us, what impressed you most about Dallas McCarver's journey? His insane strength? His unreal physique? Or the extreme risks he took along the way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you're still in the zone, check out the video in the card. See you there.